For 200 years, Earth stayed quiet. After joining the Galactic Council, humans promised something important. "We will not use our full strength," Earth's ambassador said. Many alien leaders nodded, but they didn't believe it. They thought humans were bluffing, weak, overconfident, too emotional. They didn't know the truth in secret. Earth had been planning the first contact between humans and aliens. Happened long ago during the first expansion war. A small alien raiding party attacked a human outpost on Mars. They expected no resistance, but humans fought back like wild beasts. They used fire, metal, and machines. They didn't surrender. The galaxy watched in shock. That was the moment they realized humans were different. To keep peace, the Galactic Council allowed Earth to join, but under one rule: restraint must be shown at all times. So Earth agreed. No large armies, no super weapons, no aggressive expansion, and Earth obeyed. On the surface, Earth sent doctors, engineers, and teachers to other planets. They helped weaker species grow. They traded fairly. They joined peace talks. They smiled and gave gifts. But under the oceans of Earth, deep inside hidden moons, something else was growing. Commander Ryal of the Gorgani Empire never trusted humans. "They smile too much," he said. "They hide their true face." He wasn't wrong. One day, during a closed council meeting, Ryal stood and shouted, "You say you are peaceful, but your people once burned half a star system to stop one enemy fleet." The human ambassador only replied, "Yes," and that was us. Holding back, the room went silent. Over time, the galaxy forgot Earth's warning. They laughed at old stories. "Humans are soft now," they said. "They live in peace. They are no longer a threat." The Gorgani Empire grew powerful. They controlled over 30 star systems. They wanted more, and they wanted Earth out of the way. On the outer edge of human space was a planet called Vega Prime. It was a farming world. No weapons, no soldiers, just families and machines growing food for colonies. One day, without warning, 10 Gorgani warships appeared in the sky. They said it was a miscalculation. They said it was training exercise, but they fired. Anyway, in 10 minutes, the skies burned. In 20 minutes, 2 cities were gone. Vega Prime stopped sending signals. The Galactic Council called it a tragic mistake. The Gorgani gave no apology, and Earth said nothing. No warships, numbered revenge, no response. The galaxy laughed again. "See," they said. "Earth is afraid." But they didn't see what was happening behind the silence. In a dark room under Earth's surface, a man sat alone. President Callan, he stared at the last video sent from Vega Prime. Children screaming, fires, smoke, static. He turned to his advisors and said just 5 words. "It's time. No more restraint." In that moment, hidden systems across the solar system lit up. Old satellites turned to new coordinates. Doors opened on secret hangars under Mars. Artificial minds woke up. After sleeping for centuries, the program was called Ares Protocol. It had one goal: prepare for the day humanity stops holding back. That day had come. 3 days later, a cargo ship floated into neutral space near Zarnik 4. It was silent, cold, no signs of life. An alien patrol ship scanned it. Suddenly, the cargo ship opened and from it launched 5 black sharp-edged fighters, fast, silent, deadly. Within minutes, the alien patrol was gone. No survivors, still Earth said nothing. No messages, no blame, no threats, just action. And across the stars, old human colonies began to prepare. Old codes were reactivated. Retired soldiers received strange messages. One word: awaken. But the galaxy didn't understand. They still thought Earth was waiting. Still weak, they didn't know the quiet promise had just been broken, and they would soon learn what humanity was truly capable of, not with smiles, not with peace, but with power. The stars had gone quiet, but it was not peace. It was the silence. Before a storm, after the attack on Vega Prime, Earth said nothing. No threat, no reply, no warning. The Galactic Council took this as weakness. The Gorgani Empire grew bolder on the planet Terranok 7. A human research station was bombed. 87 scientists died. It was a civilian outpost and armed. Again, the Gorgani claimed it was a mistake. The Council offered deep regrets, but no punishment. Earth remained silent, but something had changed. Inside secret command centers beneath Antarctica, military commanders began to gather. Project Ares was active again. Old fleets were waking. Weapons never shown to the galaxy were being prepped for launch. At the edge of the solar system, a massive structure rose from Neptune's moon. Triton, it had no name, only a code. AO-1 Judgment Platform, it hadn't moved in 180 years. Now, it was fully powered. Back on Earth, the world's governments gave up control. One central voice now commanded everything, the Terran High Command, a system built long ago in case of total war. For the first time in history, it was Liv. President Callan gave the final order. A short, direct message was broadcast across human space. The era of silence is over. Prepare for retaliation. Across 1,000 colonies, the message arrived. Veterans stood up. AI warcores reconnected. Factories hidden on asteroid belts roared to life. Weapons once feared even by humans themselves were now being loaded. Earth was done holding back. On the Gorgani capital world, news arrived. 3 Gorgani ships destroyed near the Kuiper line. No signals, no distress calls. Only wreckage. They blamed pirates. But then more fleets disappeared this time, with no trace at all. Gorgani Admiral Scaros grew nervous. He ordered all Gorgani warships to regroup near the Terran border. Big mistake. Earth had been watching every move, every deployment, every weakness tracked for years. The Terran fleet did not charge in head first. They didn't broadcast threats. They didn't give the Council time to respond. They struck with silence and precision. At 3:12 Standard Galactic Time, the sky above Rennick's system lit up. 9 black warships dropped out of warp, sleek, silent, invisible to most sensors. They launched thousands of micromissiles into a Gorgani fleet in orbit before alarms even sounded. The ships were shredded. No escape. No survivors. On Council World, Xenareth, panic began. What is Earth doing? Why no warning? Why are their ships undetectable? But Earth didn't answer. They weren't interested in talking anymore. Inside Terran High Command, a new AI called Sentinel ran battlefield operations. It didn't need sleep. It didn't ask permission. It only followed one rule: strike hard, leave nothing behind. Earth's enemies began disappearing. Fleet after fleet. Outposts vanished. Command centers turned to glass. A pattern formed. First, they lose contact, then silence, then only static. The Council demanded answers. They called for meetings. They begged for negotiations. Earth ignored them instead. Another message was broadcast. You wanted peace without respect. Now you will see power without mercy. All across the galaxy, fear spread. Worlds that once mocked humans now went quiet. Some locked down their spaceports. Others tried to send gifts. It was too late. Earth wasn't interested in gifts. It wanted justice. But the most terrifying part? No one knew how much strength Earth really had. They had only seen a glimpse, and that was enough to make empires tremble in the dark void of space. A single Terran warship floated outside the Gorgani homeworld. The ship's name was carved into its hull, TNS, Furia Vega. It sent one short message to the Gorgani Council. This is for Vega Prime. Then everything went white. The sky over Gorgani Prime turned to fire. One Terran warship had arrived. One dot, and in just 12 minutes, it had turned the capital's main military base into ash. No warning, no words, only justice. The people of Gorgani watched from their cities. As explosions lit the sky, they thought Earth was slow, weak, peaceful. Now they saw the truth. The TNS Furia Vega didn't stay. It disappeared into warp space before the enemy could react. No trace, no signal. Only the ruins remained. The Gorgani High Command was gone. 10 generals, 40 ships. 1 million troops all lost in seconds. The Council held an emergency meeting. Everyone was shouting, "They've lost control. Earth must be stopped. Where are their fleets coming from?" But no one had answers, because Earth had been building in silence. For decades, out in the Drakari zone, another human fleet appeared. This time it wasn't just one ship, 17 stealth-class destroyers, 5 dreadnoughts, and a massive command ship called the TNS Iron Wrath. They didn't just destroy Drakari defense lines, they erased them. Aboard the Iron Wrath, Admiral Sophia Wren gave the order without emotion. All targets green, full release. Human weapons struck with surgical precision. Orbital cannons, EMP blasts, nanomissiles. Ships cracked open like eggs. Enemy fleets tried to retreat, but Earth had already predicted their moves. Interceptors were waiting at every jump point. No escape. The galaxy began to understand. This wasn't just a war. This was retribution. Back on Earth, President Callan addressed the people. His face was calm, cold. For too long, we held back to keep peace. But peace built on fear, lies, and weakness is no peace at all. Vega Prime was the final spark. Now we will show them why we made that promise. Now the promise is broken. In a hidden sector near the black hole Zendus 6, a secret fleet called the Obsidian Line moved. These ships had no markings, no registry, no known origin. They were Earth's darkest weapons, designed only for one purpose: shock invasion. The Obsidian Line reached the Zethary Syndicate, who had once sold weapons to Earth's enemies. Their trade stations were rich, protected. They thought they were safe, until the lights in the sky went out and death came from above. Across galactic networks, panic spread. Aliens tried to run, others tried to hide. Some begged for forgiveness, but Earth wasn't listening. They were busy ending threats in the shadows of asteroid belt Deltany. A small alien fleet tried to launch a surprise counterattack. They never even got to fire. Terran Ghost-class ships cloaked in stealth had been watching them for weeks. The moment engines activated, the sky was filled with silent blue beams. The alien fleet melted in seconds. Aboard the Council, World Zenareth, the leaders of the major empires gathered. Fear covered every face. How many ships does Earth have? What kind of weapons are these? Why didn't we see this coming? No one had answers. Only one truth was clear. Earth had never stopped preparing. One ambassador whispered, "We made a mistake." Too late, a massive screen in the chamber lit up. A live message. From Earth. Admiral Wren appeared. Behind her, rows of Terran soldiers stood still as statues. Her voice was cold. "You wanted to test our patience. You thought we were weak. You were wrong. This was just the first strike. Surrender or be swept away." Gasps filled the chamber, but Earth had already ended the message. No time for peace, only time to choose: surrender or burn. The galaxy had seen Earth's ships. It had seen the weapons. But it had not yet seen the soldiers, until now. On the jungle moon of Torvax-Sri, Gorgani forces waited in hidden bunkers. They expected Terran ships. They prepared for airstrikes, missiles, maybe bombardment. What arrived instead was something else. Something worse. At midnight, black drop pods fell from the sky. Silent, fast, sharp like knives. They punched into the ground with no sound, no warning, and from them came the monsters. They looked human, but they were not ordinary. Taller, stronger eyes, glowing faint blue. Movements smooth, no wasted motion. They didn't shout, they didn't hesitate. Each one wore black armor that changed shape with light. Each one carried weapons no one had seen before and used them with perfect accuracy. In 17 minutes, the Gorgani base was gone. No alarms, no chance to fight back. Just silence and death. The Terran soldiers did not leave bodies. They erased them. Nothing for the enemy to study, nothing to trace, just a message burned into the bunker wall. Ares Protocol, Phase 2, across the galaxy. Rumors spread like fire. Earth is using machines. No, they're humans, but changed, modified, controlled. Earth, not soldiers. Weapons with human minds. And those rumors were all true. Years ago, after Earth's first war with the Draxian swarm, a secret project was launched. Project Ares. Its purpose: create the perfect soldier. Not just smart, not just strong, but fast, loyal, emotionless, in battle and unstoppable. Children were trained from age 3. Their minds connected to Battle A is their bones replaced with alloy. They could see in darkness. Their blood could seal wounds in seconds. And they were all volunteers born for war. Raised in silence, ready for one mission: Protect humanity by destroying anything that threatens it. Even Earth's allies were scared. The Varnari Republic sent a secret message. Please confirm the rumors true. You've built super soldiers. Earth's. The reply was only 2 words. We promised restraint. The Varnari never asked again. On the ice world, Threxel II, an alien warlord named Korgak, the Unburned, tried to fight back. He gathered mercenaries. He hired pirate fleets. He promised 10 million credits to anyone who brought him a Terran soldier alive. None returned. One by one, his forces vanished, until finally, his command ship received a single video feed. Grainy footage, static. Then, a face, human, male. Eyes glowing blue, he spoke one sentence. You are already dead. Then the screen went black. 10 minutes later, Korgak's base exploded. No survivors. Across Council space, panic turned to fear. If Earth had thousands of these soldiers, if they were being deployed across dozens of planets, what could stop them? Inside the Terran High Command, Admiral Sophia Wren stood before a giant screen. She spoke to all commanders across human space. The phase is complete. The Ares units are active in 12 sectors. Civilian casualties, 0. Enemy resistance, collapsing. One general asked, what if the Council surrenders? Admiral Wren replied calmly, then we stop the war. But we don't forget and we don't disarm. The galaxy now knew the truth. Earth didn't win with numbers, it won with preparation. For centuries, while others celebrated peace, Earth had been building a quiet storm, and now the storm was here. They thought humans were soft. They thought peace made them weak, but peace had only made them patient. The real face of humanity had now been shown. Not the diplomats, not the engineers, not the smiling ambassadors, but the Ares soldiers. And the galaxy would never forget that face again. The time for warning was over. The time for talking was gone now. It was time to strike back. Humanity had waited, endured, held back, but now, across the stars, the full retaliation had begun. The first to fall was the Zarkith Empire. They had once laughed during Earth's Council trial, called humans emotion bombs with spaceships. Now their fleet was burning above their capital. Terran warships arrived from the blackness between galaxies. No broadcasts, no threats, only attack Zarkith ships known, for their thick armor were torn open in seconds. Terran plasma rounds melted holes. Their shield codes had already been cracked years ago, before they even knew it was war. It was already over. On the surface of Zarkith Prime, cities watched their defense towers fall one by one. Blue beams sliced across the sky. Then, silence. A single message played across every Zarkith screen. Earth remembers. Earth forgives. Slowly, back on Xenareth, the Galactic Council was in panic. They called for emergency peace talks. They begged Earth to stop, but Earth didn't answer. They weren't listening anymore. They were moving in the Schuler system. The Gorgani's final fleet prepared for battle. Thousands of ships, trained warriors, heavy armor. They believed they could still win, but the humans sensed something new. Something the galaxy had never seen. The Leviathan-class warships, miles long, covered in nano-armor. Each one powered by an artificial star core. Each one carrying a full Ares. Battalion inside, they didn't fight fleets, they erased systems. When the TNS Black Sun entered the Schuler system, the battle was over in 13 minutes. The Gorgani fleet broke apart. Some ships fled. Some self-destructed, none won. A single Terran broadcast followed. This is what Restraint held back. The galaxy could hardly believe it. Empires that stood for centuries were collapsing in days. No one knew how many ships Earth had. No one knew how deep their technology went. No one knew where the next strike would land. That fear was the weapon in the Crenary Belt. Pirates, once paid by Gorgani, were targeted next. These pirates had raided human colonies for years. Now they vanished. One by one, their stations went dark. Their signal buoys destroyed. Their names erased from the galactic net. They were hunted by Terran ghost units. Invisible ships, AI-driven. No crew, no mercy. Meanwhile, Terran ambassadors returned to neutral worlds, but not with gifts, with simple warnings. You don't have to fear Earth unless you ever stood against it. Most neutral worlds surrendered before a shot was fired. Not out of weakness, but out of respect. Inside the Terran High Command, Admiral Wren monitored 41 active operations across 23 star systems. Terran fleets were engaged in silent strikes, and Earth had not lost a single battle. President Callan made his second public speech. "We never wanted war, but we promised this: if peace is broken, we will not be the ones to suffer." The Varnari Republic, once a close ally of the Gorgani, sent a secret message. "We offer surrender. Total. Just don't send your soldiers." Earth accepted, but with a price. They would now serve under Earth's new command structure, the Iron Accord. One by one, empires surrendered. Not because they were forced, but because they saw the future and it had Earth at the center. But deep in the Council's last safe zone, a small group still resisted. Old empires, rich families. They believed they could still outsmart Earth. They had one plan left: to assassinate Earth's high command. They sent a stealth team of elite killers to infiltrate the command center on Earth's moonbase. They got past the first walls, they reached the inner chamber, and then the lights went out from the shadows. The Ares soldiers stepped forward, quiet, waiting. The enemy team never saw the next second. When the lights came back, the floor was cleaned Earth. Left no weaknesses. Not in space, not on ground, not even at home. To the galaxy, one truth became clear: this is not the same Earth we knew. This is a new order, and no one, not even the Council, could stop it. The Galactic Council was dying, but it didn't know it yet. On the surface of Zenareth, the capital of the Council, leaders from dozens of species gathered in panic. Their fleets were gone, their allies surrendered, their systems were collapsing one by one, and Earth was still coming. In the central chamber, Supreme Chancellor Kaisar shouted, "We must speak with Earth. There must be peace." But no one answered him. Some were frozen in fear. Others were already packing escape ships. They had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. But they had never faced this kind of enemy, an enemy who gave no warnings, because they already warned them once. From the sky, Earth's fleet began to arrive. First, the TNS Silent Verdict, a command ship the size of a small moon. Then destroyers. Then carriers. Then the Leviathans. Each one appeared without sound. No flashing lights, no threats, only presence. Hunley, unstoppable. Inside Council HQ, security systems activated. Anti-air defenses came online. Fighter drones launched into the sky. They fired first. Big mistake. The Silent Verdict didn't even dodge. It activated one weapon. Pulse 0. In a second, every drone and defense satellite in orbit shut down. No explosions, just silence. Every screen in the chamber went black, then lit up with a single line: "This is your last day of power." On the ground, panic exploded. Ships tried to flee. Escape pods launched, but the Terran fleet had already blocked every exit path. Wormholes jammed. Warp tunnels sealed. No one would leave. Then the drop pods came. Thousands, raining from the sky like thunder. Each carried a squad of Ares protocol soldiers. Each team had one mission: secure, disarm, eliminate resistance. In the council hall, guards drew their weapons. One of the Man Elite Rax warrior screamed, "We will not bow to Earth." But before he could fire, a Terran soldier dropped through the ceiling window. One clean shot, the Rax fell. The rest of the guards dropped their weapons and raised their hands. Admiral Wren herself entered the council hall, flanked by 2 black-armored officers. She didn't shout. She didn't gloat. She simply walked to the center of the room and said, "By order of the Terran High Command, the Galactic Council is hereby dissolved." No one stopped her. No one dared. Even Kaisar, the once proud chancellor, sat in silences. Hands shaking, the Terran officers uploaded a data crystal to the council database. It held a new system of order, the Iron Accord. No more empire-led councils. No more voting power by species. All systems protected equally under Earth's watch. All war crimes tried under Terran law. Kaisar finally stood and whispered, "So this is it. We are your slaves now." Admiral Wren looked him in the eye. "No, you are free now. Free from arrogance. Free from fear. But if you ever threaten peace again, you won't get a second chance." All across Zenareth, Terran soldiers moved swiftly. Power was transferred. War records were seized. Weapons were secured. War criminals were arrested. Not one Terran soldier harmed a civilian. Not one building was looted. No screams, no riots, only order across the galaxy. News spread. The Council has fallen. Earth now leads the Accord. Order has returned at a cost. But most worlds didn't complain. They were tired of fear, tired of being ignored. Earth had done what no one else could, destroyed chaos, replaced it with power back on Earth. In the Terran High Command Chamber, President Callan watched it all unfold. He spoke to the room of generals and advisors. We didn't start this war, but we finished it. Now we rebuild. Now we lead because no one else can. Admiral Wren gave one final order from Zenareth. Begin Operation Dawnlight. Restore power. Send aid to all war-torn planets. Can begin Peace-Daron style. And with that, humanity officially became the center of the galaxy. The war was over. The Galactic Council was gone. The empires that ruled for thousands of years had fallen, and in their place stood a new name, Earth. Not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as the new balance. From orbit above Zenareth, the Terran fleet watched calmly. No cities were burning, no civilians running in fear. There were no more attacks, no more invasions, because no one dared. Admiral Wren stood on the balcony of the former Council Tower, now renamed Unity Spire. She looked down at the thousands of people, Lalians and humans gathered below, all waiting, all watching. She activated her communicator and spoke in a calm, firm voice. We are not your enemies. We are your shield because, when the old powers failed, Earth stood up, and now we stand for all of you. Cheers echoed from the streets, not out of fear, but out of relief. Operation Dawnlight had begun. Across the galaxy, Terran-age ships were landing, rebuilding broken cities, feeding hungry populations, restoring power and water everywhere Earth's banner flew. Vega Prime, the planet, once attacked by the Gorgani, life returned. Terran engineers rebuilt farms using nanotech. New schools opened with multi-species teachers. Children human and alien played under the same sun. A small monument stood in the center of the capital. We forgave, we remember, we lead, but not everything was soft. The Iron Accord was now law. It protected all species, but punished war crimes without mercy. Pirates were hunted, slave traders wiped out. Any system that refused peace disappeared. Not because Earth wanted war, but because it would never allow it again. Inside the Terran High Command, President Callan met with leaders from 47 species. They sat around a single round table, no one above the others. He stood and said, "Power isn't meant to be kept. It's meant to be used for something better. We will protect this peace with everything we have. But we won't rule with fear. We'll lead with strength and fairness." One alien ambassador stood, trembling. "Why help us? We attacked your people. We betrayed your trust." Callan nodded. "Yes, and Earth almost turned its back on all of you, but we remembered who we are. We're not just warriors, we're builders." In the stars, Terran ships no longer carried warheads, they carried medicine, food, and knowledge. Ares soldiers stayed deployed, but now as protectors. Children across alien worlds called them the Silver Guard. They smiled for the first time. The galaxy slowly healed. Where there had been fear, there was now structure. Where there was chaos, there was now order. And at the center of it all stood humanity. Not perfect, not without scars, but stronger than anyone had imagined. In a small human outpost on the moon, Callistra, a boy looked up at the stars. He asked his teacher, "Will there be another war?" The teacher, an old Terran veteran, smiled and said, "Maybe. One day, but if it comes, Earth will be ready. And this time, we won't wait to be struck first." Final broadcast from Earth to the galaxy. We promised restraint. But we also promised protection. And now that promise will never be broken. This is our era. Welcome to the Age of Unity. Welcome to the Terran Accord.